In the 18th century, information required heavy iron and wet ink. These machines stamped global data for an audience thousands of miles away. This is issue 71 of the American Weekly Mercury, published in Philadelphia, April 1721. It linked a frontier town to Atlantic power centers. A single issue contains massive corporate collapse in London, succession threats in Rome, North African troop movements, and local scandals. To understand how these colonists navigated their world, we can treat this document as a high-level news broadcast broken down into specialized desks. Approaching this document as a functional dashboard reveals the specific data points that kept colonial readers tied to the shifting mechanics of global geopolitics. We begin with the financial desk. London is reeling from the catastrophic collapse of the South Sea bubble. In the January 28 dispatch, the paper details the aggressive political response, naming high-ranking directors arrested in the fallout: Sir John Blunt, Sir John Lambert, and Jacob Sawbridge. Members of Parliament were expelled and ordered into the custody of the Sergeant-at-Arms. Amidst the arrests, a manhunt was underway for the company's chief financial officer, Robert Knight. The state's desperation is visible in the bounty, recording a royal proclamation offering a £2,000 reward for Knight's capture. The dispatch even details his escape route, fleeing by carriage on a Saturday night to board a vessel slipping down the river. These reports document a sophisticated 18th century system of white-collar criminal prosecution and international extradition. For a colonial merchant, this financial instability was a warning. The fragility of London's credit markets directly threatened the supply lines and insurance rates of the entire British Empire. Shifting to the international desk, we see existential threats to the British Crown originating from the European continent. Intelligence from Rome reports the birth of an heir to the exiled Stuart line, James Charles Edward Casimir. The exiled court celebrated with firing of guns, bonfires, and innumerable other illuminations, a clear signal to London of a renewed Jacobite threat. To the north, the military map of Europe was also being redrawn. The paper details the strategic handover of the Stralsund garrison. Danish forces evacuated the city, making way for Swedish command to march in under a discharge of cannon. Colonial readers tracked these successions and handovers because European territorial shifts often dictated where the next conflict would erupt on American soil. On the conflict desk, the newspaper reports on a massive military expansion on the North African front. Spain was committing significant resources to the campaign, landing 9,000 choice veteran troops to reinforce their positions. The report describes fierce resistance from the defending Moors, leading to a brutal war of attrition. The scale of the loss was immense. Later dispatches report that the Moors lost 16,000 men in a single engagement. To a reader in 1721 Philadelphia, 16,000 casualties was a number larger than the entire population of their city. While land wars raged in Africa, the maritime desk reported on threats closer to merchant interests. North African corsairs, known as Sally Rovers, were actively seizing colonial trade vessels, including the sloop Fortune and a ship from New England. Naval combat was a constant risk for the merchant readers of this paper, who relied on this intelligence to map the safety of Atlantic trade routes. This data allowed a Philadelphia merchant to calculate the physical and financial risks of every voyage they financed. Finally, we move to the local bureau, where the news hits closer to home. This section features a prominent retraction concerning a false report about the government of Pennsylvania. The editor admits that a previous claim about the colony being surrendered to the Crown was groundless and too rashly inserted. This level of self-correction shows the emerging standards of accountability in the colonial press. The printer knew the audience relied on the accuracy of this dashboard. Below the political news, the classified advertisements ground the paper in the daily life of Philadelphia. The ads include rewards for runaway servants, like William Van Mill, and notices for jailbreakers fleeing Baltimore County. This duality defined the colonial mind, tracking the fall of empires while monitoring the local advertisements for runaway servants. When we pull back and view the entire briefing, the breadth of the data is clear. In 4 pages, a single reader processed corporate fraud in London, succession crises in Rome, high-casualty land wars in North Africa, and local crime in Maryland. The evidence in the American Weekly Mercury challenges the idea that these colonists lived in provincial isolation. This newspaper was a vital tool for survival, providing the intelligence needed to navigate a dangerous and interconnected world. In 1721, long before instant communication, the printed page was the primary, indispensable link bridging the vast distances between continents.
The Daily